Welcome everyone to episode 99 of the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. I'm your host, Michael Pickering. That's right, Lo-Fi as in low fidelity, low quality, in-your-face, messy as can be global news show. Here we're going to talk about that famous question, what's going on in the world today? I hope everyone's ready. It's Messy Monday. Messy Monday's weekend recap will bring you 10 fast-paced headlines from across the globe, and then a piece of humanity to send you on your way for the week. The news, fresh off the press. Normally we jump right into the messiness. But today, we wait for this first story. Source, AP News International. We begin today remembering events long past in Japan, but not forgotten. Nagasaki urges nuke ban on 75th anniversary of USA bombing. Yesterday, 75 years ago, on August 9th, at 11:02 a.m., the U.S. used its second nuclear weapon on Nagasaki, Japan, killing more than 70,000 people. 3 days before they bombed Hiroshima, the collective toll was over 200,000 people. There are not words to describe such things, to describe the magnitude of such events. Perhaps it's best we simply listen to the headline and ponder a single question. Do we ever want to see such things happen again? Write in, Lo-Fi Nation. I want to know your thoughts on this one. Our following two stories come from Reuters World News. We move to the Middle East. Lebanon government set to resign amid outrage over Beirut blast. Minister. Massive protests took place over the weekend calling for the government to take responsibility for the tragic events of last week. Now, it appears they are. While it's stated that the entire cabinet of the government will resign, we still wait to see just how far these resignations will go and what will happen next. We're still with you, Beirut. Now we move to update the story in Belarus. Fact box. Political crisis unfolds in Belarus after presidential vote. Lebanon wasn't the only place with massive protest. The presidential election we've been talking about finally took place yesterday in Belarus. The opposition has rejected the results and claimed the election was rigged. President Lukashenko won the election with 80% of the vote. Side note, Lo-Fi listener. No president, prime minister, chancellor, or any other name you give a leader of a country in a real democracy wins 80% of the vote. Lofi Poli Sci is calling this one. The vote was rigged. The following three stories all come from AP News International, though the first two are connected. We move to the UK. BBC radio host quits over use of racist term in news reports. And the second story. BBC says sorry for using racist term in news report. The short version of this messiness. A BBC reporter used a racial slur on air to describe the events of what can only be called a hate crime/attack, because the attackers were screaming the word. The BBC reporter thought it meaningful to use the same word on air. After this, a broadcaster from a BBC music station quit over his company's use of the slur on air. Now, the BBC has officially apologized and said it was a mistake to use the word at all. Hey BBC, come close. Yeah, you think? Come on, I'm about to report on 4 stories from your organization. Get your head out of your ass and think before you speak. It's not like you're some small-time podcast that only 5 people listen to. And even then, I bet a program such as that wouldn't use such language. For our next story, we travel to the Indian Ocean, east of Madagascar. Mauritius races to contain oil spill, protect coastline. The island nation of Mauritius is suffering from a horrible oil spill around its coast. This is devastating considering island nations generally sustain their economy from the sea and from tourism, which one is already horribly hit by current global conditions. Hey world, be kind and help Mauritius. And our final 4 stories all come from the BBC News World section. We begin in the Middle East and North America. Saudi Crown Prince accused of sending hit squad to Canada. Now what is this? The leader of Saudi Arabia, bringer of Vision 2030 to the country, has been accused by Canada no less, in court papers submitted to Washington, D.C. courts, of ordering a hit squad to kill a former intelligence officer? Now this is some real messiness. We'll definitely keep you updated to this story as we find out more, or as it tries to get buried. To Latin America we now go. Venezuela. Former American soldiers jailed over failed coup. Remember back in May we talked about the small group of Americans and Venezuelans that were caught trying to overthrow Maduro? Well, the 2 Americans were sentenced to 20 years in prison. We'll wait to see if the U.S. does anything about this. However, with the relations between the countries as they are, and Venezuela accusing the U.S. president of masterminding the coup attempt, we're not exactly sure how much can really be done. Our following story brings us back to the U.S. and the vastness of the net. Is the US about to split the internet? I saw this story on Friday, but it was Good News Friday, so I just had to wait. This is an interesting question. Most people simply assume the internet is one big thing, and that everyone on Earth has access to the same information. And that is completely not true. Some countries have their own intranets. Others have highly restricted or censored internet. And some countries have almost no internet at all. And yes, that's a fact. So the question, is the US about to split the internet? This is all about TikTok, WeChat, and other Chinese online platforms being banned. It's about the US government censoring access to information and platforms. It's something we should all be watching for. Latest on the TikTok front, Twitter has expressed interest in the company as well. And now, for our last piece of news to send you on your way for the week, we go to the eastern coast of Australia. Whale migration, super rare whale encounter on the Great Barrier Reef. 2 people were scuba diving in shallow waters and surprisingly had a 12-minute long, up-close and personal encounter with a large humpback whale. Take the time to watch the video. It's truly amazing to watch this beautiful giant creature swim and be perfectly in harmony with its environment, which included these 2 scuba divers. Perhaps this week, we can learn from our mammal cousins of the sea, and let's try and be more in harmony with our own environments, which includes each other. Be kind, Lo-Fi Nation. And that's a brief snapshot of what's going on in the world today. Stay tuned for tomorrow's special episode 100 and Tuesday's Top 10. Always remember that Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Write in with questions or comments to lofipolisci@planetmail.com. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Wash those hands. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. Pickering, signing off.